Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Horror Film Lovers Mainstream Monday. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I've got my co-host,
John Ward.
John Ward, is back once again.
Yes.
Season two, we did The Nun. We started that off. I think that started out pretty well, but
Mhm.
now we are officially going into more of the James Wan A Thon that we're doing. And I am extremely excited to talk about Annabelle Creation, which is the second movie in the I guess timeline,
Doing
right?
our timeline thing. Yeah.
Yeah, with the chronological order, I guess, of like events, and everything. So did you say what year did you say this took place? Like 1950 something
It's
or
like 58. The Nun
58?
was 52.
So 1958, and was this actually like because Annabelle being created was earlier than that, though. It was like 12 years earlier.
12 years earlier. Yeah.
So it was 12 years earlier, so that would have been and then it was another 12 years after that too. So wow, like, right? It kept going kind of after that for when you got to see the actual,
Yeah.
you
Yeah. We
know,
saw him creating the doll, which I don't know how many he actually made, but we see the one doll being made. And then, yeah, then the girl gets killed. B gets killed.
which
And
we
then it
find
goes
out later
12 years
is
later.
Annabelle,
Okay. So this is where I messaged you and saying I'm having an issue with the Annabelle name. So it doesn't make sense to me.
What?
The name Annabelle.
What do you mean?
So the little girl's name that gets hit by the car is B.
Her
They
actual,
then
that was her
no,
nickname.
right, hold on. So is B. We then find out later on that her name is Annabelle. How does B connect to Annabelle at all? It should be Anna or Belle. What is B? Like, does she
B
roam
was
around the
should be
house like
for
a bee?
Belle, pronounced for like shortened for Belle. Is
Just say
the
Belle. It's
Yeah,
just say Belle. It's only
they
one
should have
letter
done that. I
more.
don't know why. I think literally, I think they did that because they did not want you to know that she was the named Annabelle till later. So if they did Anna or Belle, you might have picked it up. Oh, this is actually going to be the Annabelle girl. Then when when the mother yells Annabelle, or whatever to her later or something in the I guess when she got scarred and everything like that, she said Annabelle. That was the big reveal. It like to the audience. Oh
Well,
my
okay,
God.
now, wait, now, hold on. Okay, so we know where's B. We find out that she's Annabelle. Then the parents know that the spirit is there of B or Annabelle.
Hmm.
So they take the doll, which I'm assuming had no name at the time, and put her spirit into the doll, making it Annabelle, but it's not Annabelle. It's that evil spirit. And so they're like, oh my God, we got fooled.
Well,
So I'm guessing the evil spirit knew what the daughter looked like to roam around the house and
hmm
everything. Okay. So then late,
and she did the whole like come find me or whatever, or
yeah.
the notes.
So yeah. So then, okay. So then later we have the girl who has the leg brace and Annabelle pins her down in the barn,
Hmm.
and all the goo goes from her into the cripple girl.
Hmm.
Okay, now she's possessed.
Right.
So I guess the image of Annabelle and all that stuff is gone, and now she's inside the girl with the leg brace. Okay, so it wouldn't be her. So that's just the evil spirit that's in there. So then we cut back to. So then we cut into the future, and the girl with the leg, who I guess is now not crippled, when the parents come in to get her, they go, well, what is your name? And she goes, my name is Annabelle. No, your name isn't Annabelle, because it was the evil spirit. So it's whatever the name of the evil spirit is. So why are you saying your name is Annabelle? Which then, and of course, I thought it was funny that the gift that they give her is the Annabelle doll, is like the Raggedy Andy or Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah, so she
I
gets it
thought,
back. Yeah,
which
or
is
the she
as
gets
it's
that. Yeah.
yeah, it's like a little Easter egg. Which is weird is the audio commentary for the film. I watched that whole ending again, like the last
Mhm.
20 minutes. The director never points out that's the original Annabelle doll. And it's like, wait, what are you talking about? It's like a total Easter egg. That's a joke. Like, why did you even point it out? But okay, so then she goes home with the parents, cut to like 12 years later or whatever it is, or 6 years later, whatever it is. And it's obviously takes place during the 70s.
Mhm.
So we see now she is the girl from Annabelle, from the movie Annabelle. And then she comes in, kills her parents, and escapes. And as the evil spirit. So why is she Annabelle? And why is the doll Annabelle? Why are they both Annabelle?
Um.
And the
So
priest said that the doll was clean.
right. Well, the priest was sort of um because I didn't buy that it was clean. I had a feeling that that doll was still there was still something evil inside that doll. Um. Here's the thing. I mean, it's very confusing. Biggest problem I have with this movie is that this demon entity thing can do anything. And so it becomes this kind of like, this is bullshit, like she's that girl, right? Like the demon is that girl, the one that ends up calling herself Annabelle or whatever. What I forgot
Well,
what the girl,
pretending to be the girl.
yeah, right, and stuff. And then but she's also like coming and attacking these people at the same time that the four girls are dealing with the scarecrow that's also possessed.
So according to the, and I didn't listen to the whole thing, I was scanning through it just to remind myself of stuff, and I would stop every once in a while and listen to the audio commentary. The scarecrow was pretty much put there because the studio and the director said that the other girls had nothing to do. So they're like, okay, well, let's make it a scarecrow. Can anybody think of anything else? No, it's a scarecrow. So that's it. That's it was there
No,
to give the other girls something to do.
yeah, well, gives them something to do, but that doesn't make any sense then because then that means like it's too crowded with shit that's going on, meaning that this demon thing can control everything in the world. At that point, then like how are you gonna really be able to stop this thing? Like you can't. You have to send it back to where it came from or something, and that's what I was hoping it would do, but it can't because this is a prequel and it was supposed to set up for, you know, Annabelle or whatever, the next one that we
Yeah,
watch.
because then at the beginning of Annabelle, as we see the ending of this, and then that girl who kills her parents or killed her dad, I guess the guy, the Charles Manson guy, played, killed the mother. But yeah, she is at the beginning, at least, of Annabelle.
Oh. Um, I have not seen Annabelle in forever, so I don't even remember the opening, but I was imagining at the end of this was the beginning of that. I'd imagine that,
Yeah,
when I
it's
was
some
watching it.
different angles, some different footage. I guess the Charles Manson guy, the director said, is different because they couldn't get back the other guy. So that's like a grip. It's like somebody that they put into the makeup. Um, there's deleted scenes that were on there. Most of them weren't, because they did big reshoots. So the biggest thing that they cut out of the movie was that the female nun that's there, is her backstory is completely missing, and they showed it in the deleted footage, which is she, when she was waiting to become a nun, she got pregnant, she had the baby, put it up for adoption, and 7 years later the kid died in a lake that's ice. It's like he falls through and he drowns. That kid is then haunting her in that house. And when they took out that backstory, they changed everything to the girl with the leg brace to give her more screen time. So that's a lot of that stuff is missing. So like when the nun hits against the wall, like she breaks the mirror and falls, that's actually her son. and her son
Oh,
forces her to hit, and all they did
wait,
was
so he just
digitally.
followed her there?
No, because it's the evil spirit
It's the evil spirit of what?
of her son.
Right. So he could just go, you know, anywhere she goes, he just pops up.
I mean, I guess they're in the house. The spirit can get into your brain, know what's hurt you or
Oh,
memories
the
or
other
whatever.
spirit, the spirit of Annabelle or whatever, or the
Yeah, the
whatever
black
it is,
demon
because
thing.
I don't think they ever call it by its name or anything. They ever say what this demon's name is,
The
or
wife might say it once when she's explaining it to the nun,
I don't remember that.
maybe, or maybe she just said evil spirit. But that's yeah. So all of those
Yeah, as far as
scenes.
I remember her saying, it was just a demonic spirit. Did not give it a name or anything.
Okay, so
Um,
all that stuff was changed, and then the wife that has the mask on, she actually we do see it a couple times, like when the two girls are under the tent and they're giggling, and the wife comes in and she has like a baby doll mask on. That all of that was cut, and they show those scenes too because they reshot everything. So, but there are still scenes with the wife having the whole baby doll mask.
yeah, you
And
see
then
kind of half of it or something.
later, yeah, he gives her like the Phantom of the Opera mask.
Yeah,
And then the Scarecrow stuff is different. Originally, it was possessed. It looks at the girls in the truck. They look back, it's gone. And then they don't know where it is. And it drops from the sky on top of the truck. And they freak out and they run. And there is a scene, there's two shots where you can see the Scarecrow on the truck. But it's so fast. Like only if the director goes, there it is, then you rewind it and go, oh yeah, there it is. It's on the truck. So a
right.
ton of stuff was redone.
Yeah. Um, it on. I mean, it's one of those movies where I mean, I was sort of having fun, enjoying some of the stuff, but then after a while, some of the stuff just got a little confusing, I guess. And I feel like this is the problem of doing a movie and then, you know, saying, oh man, we need to do a prequel now and explain stuff, right? And everything, give a backstory to Annabelle, but also bring in this group, this orphanage. By the way, I love my favorite character in the whole movie was Anthony LaPlagia. I think I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, but I used to like think he was like the bomb back in the 90s when he was doing
He's good.
he was doing like So I Married an Axe Murderer, and he did Empire Records, and he did a bunch of other stuff that I was just like, this guy's the man, like back then, like holy crap. And then so I was like, I didn't even recognize him, you know. He gotten a little older and gained some
A little
weight,
bigger.
and
Yeah.
yeah, he's gotten gained some weight, and he looked a lot different. And but there were some shots that they had of him, and I was like, yep, that's him, like I could tell that was him. But it took a second, to realize it and everything. I liked him. I
I,
liked him in it.
oh,
Mom
he's
was
good in
good.
it. Yeah.
Um,
They're
yeah.
friends. That's the director mentions that the husband and wife are actually friends in real life.
See, I wouldn't be surprised because so in Empire Records and So I Married Axe Murder, he played boyfriend and girlfriend with uh the chick from Entourage that was like the publicist. I forgot her name, like Deborah something or whatever. But she's been in a bunch of, she was in a bunch of movies, and one, she was in those two movies with him as his girlfriend. I'm like wondering if that was like something he likes to do, like bring in people he's either friends with or he like could have been actually dating at the time. I don't know, for a
It's
fact.
possible. I mean, he
Yeah.
seems fun on the set, for the character that he was playing.
Yeah. He,
They've had some behind the scenes stuff. The nice thing about the DVD is or the Blu-ray, is that it's got all that deleted footage, and then the director talks about it, and then there's a 42-minute video on directing by the
oh,
director,
oh,
and he takes you through like an entire day of filming, and he talks about how to work with actors, how to work with cameramen, how to work with the script, that they kept like the what is it, the dumbwaiter that's up and down was never in the script.
Oh,
And his like the set designer said, you know what would look cool if we put in a dumbwaiter? And the director's like, but we could do a whole scene in it. We could get one of the girls in there. And then he went to the writer and said, can you put that in the script?
cool.
So yeah, so it's interesting to see how he works with people, because a lot of people are giving suggestions and he's taking them, and and it looks like they had a
That's a
lot of
big
fun.
thing. He was the guy who did Lights Out and everything,
Yes.
and he's done Shazam. I mean, this
Oh, he did
guy's
do
cool.
okay.
Yeah, he did Shazam. So it's kind of funny. James Wan does Aquaman. He did
Oh, and he
Shazam.
does Shazam. That's
You
right.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe James Gunn did Suicide. Like everybody's doing like people in horror are doing big superhero stuff these days. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, and to go back to the dad for a second, is the one thing that I'm glad they didn't do was make him creepy or sleazy. They made him like people were intimidated by him or scared of him.
Hmm.
But I'm so glad there wasn't that scene of him like going up to one of the girls and going, "How you doing? Like that massage?"
Oh
Like I'm
God.
I'm so glad that they didn't put that
I'm
in.
glad they
There's
didn't
like,
go any kind of creepiness with him at all. Yeah, when
yeah, there's no creepiness in anybody in this, which is
yeah.
nice. Even the wife who's stuck in that bedroom with the mask on, she doesn't get mad when people come in. She asked the nun
Well,
for some water, and
I
you
mean,
know,
there he does get mad about the her going into the room she's not supposed to go, the girl's not supposed to go into.
oh
But
yeah, yeah,
that
for a
was
couple of reasons, yeah.
understandable and it's not just because, he told her not to go into it. It's because like they don't want that evil to come out and that evil,
Yeah, the doll's in there. Yeah,
yeah, the doll's in
Annabelle.
there.
Annabelle's in there. So
Yeah, and don't, they don't want, and all of a sudden the doll comes out, but like it was weird because like obviously it was unlocked, or whatever, opened, and it was open because Annabelle opened it. Like, how does Annabelle open it if she's like surrounded by all that, like God
maybe
stuff and
she
everything?
isn't. Maybe she's not. That it's maybe she's just waiting. Just kind of sitting in there, just
She's
waiting.
able, she has powers, she's able to open
Yeah,
up doors and shit.
because one of the scenes, and this is one thing I want to check with the audio commentary, is when the girl in the wheelchair, when she gets pushed into the barn and falls. I'm like, that's a nun who's pushing her, but the hands are all kind of gray and stuff. That is the nun, not the nun, but the nun from the black woman. So at some point, she leaves her there, goes to the house, gets possessed, comes back, wheels her into the barn and throws her off, and then goes back to the house and is fine.
I didn't, wow. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they mentioned it in the like the behind the scenes and audio commentary, and
That's
that was
cool.
and that was a studio thing. That wasn't a director thing because they didn't know who was going to push the wheelchair, and the
That
the
was a
studio
great scene
said
though,
make
but
it the nun
yeah, it was a great
or
scene.
sister.
Sisters,
Well, to make it different, so it's not the nun. I'll say
sis
sister,
sister Charlotte.
sister
Um,
Charlotte. Yeah,
and
Charlotte.
I like she was probably also a character I really, really enjoyed. And I enjoyed the kids pretty much. Like even some of
They
the
were
kids were
fun.
a little obnoxious, or whatever, but like I was like, that's their age,
Right.
like they're kind of like that's sort of the older girls, are a little bit more obnoxious to the younger girls, and stuff. Like the younger girls look up to the older girls. By the way, I believe if I'm correct, and I'm gonna look this up real quick, but I believe there's an actor in the movie named Samara, um, that's in here. I will have a good reason for bringing that up in a second. Maybe not. Okay, maybe I was wrong.
The only
Um,
girl that kind of bugged me is
oh, there is.
the
B is named Samara. Is her real name Samara?
uh
And guess what? There's a well in this movie.
yes, okay.
The
That's
ring.
so I didn't know what her name was, but I was going to bring up the well. which kind of really seemed like The Ring.
Right.
So, but that is funny that
That
she's
is
named
funny
that,
that the
and it was
girl's name was the girl who played B, which was the girl who died from that fucking shot of the truck hitting her. Like, wow. That was good. Like it I saw it coming, right? Like I knew, oh shit, this is how she's gonna die. But I didn't see it coming like where they're actually gonna show like a truck hitting her and shit before it just all of a sudden the
I'll
thing
get
falls.
it.
Yep. Oh my God.
Yeah, you got it.
You got more than you wanted. Um,
The only girl that I really didn't like, and I know this is going to sound weird, and it's not that I don't like her. It's the friend of the girl with the leg,
why didn't you
and
like her?
she was also in Ouija, the second Ouija film, which was the
Oh,
prequel, Origin of Evil.
the one
She
directed by
Mike Flanagan,
Mike Flanagan.
yeah, the good one. Um, for some reason, when I see her, I see The Orphan, that movie, The Orphan. Like
Right.
she's a like a 30-year-old person in like a little kid's body. I don't know what it is about her because I didn't get that feeling off of any of the other girls that were in this.
And she's not a 30-year-old. Like she's actually was born in 2005.
Yeah, she's a little girl. Yeah. I'm not,
Yeah.
but it's weird is that I'm watching her going, why does for some reason she reminds me of The Orphan. Like she's much older mentally than she is. It was just kind of weird. Like, I don't know. I also didn't like her in Ouija 2. Like
Yeah.
she's a fine actress. There's nothing wrong with her. But I felt the same way in Ouija 2, that it was just like there's something about it's like the kid who played Freddy's son in Nightmare 5. And he's running around like the dream world and everything, and he's got these weird eyes that are all dark. He's got the eyebrows and everything, and I guess that he actually does have like a growth disorder. And he's also in Jurassic Park, the first film.
Yeah, I know that
So
kid.
yeah, so he's the one who criticizes Sam Neill,
Mm.
and then Sam Neill comes back with like a comeback. That he does have like a growth disorder. So he is an adult in a kid's body. And he bugs me too. It's just I look at him and go, "Oh, you're just kind of creepy," and I'm sorry, but it's I would not put him in a film. Maybe Nightmare on Elm Street, he worked out fine because he's supposed to be creepy, but I don't know. I would have picked a different kid for Jurassic Park. And this girl reminded me of that. She's not ugly or anything. She's not a bad actress or anything, but it just reminded me of The Orphan. I'm just like, God, she just doesn't. There's something off to me.
Hmm. I mean, look. Okay, so I'm not thinking the same kid. 'Cause I was thinking the main kid, the main boy, in
Oh, no, no,
uh
no, no. This kid, he's only at the very beginning, and he's like criticizing Alan, who would
oh,
be
okay. He says like
Sam
yeah,
Neill.
like something about dinosaurs or something in the
Yeah, and Alan corrects him, but he always has like black around his eyes. There's something like off,
hmm.
but he has a reason for it. She's just a little girl, but for some reason, I just look at her and go like, "Oh God, why does she bug me? I don't know. Hate
No
to be mean,
idea.
but yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. It wasn't with anybody else,
Okay,
just
yeah,
her."
that kid's name is Whit Hertford, and he was a volunteer boy in Jurassic Park as well as Jacob in Nightmare on Elm Street 5.
There
Cool.
you go.
When you said something, I was like, wait, the kid in Nightmare on Elm Street, and then you said 5. I thought you meant you were gonna say Wes Craven's New Nightmare as
Oh no.
that was Miko Hughes, which I love. I love.
Oh no, 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 no. I like him. He's
I
great.
boys have a penis and girls have a vagina.
Yeah.
That kid. Um. So yeah, I know I adore this. Like there's issues, you know, as you said, but I had a really good time with it. I don't know. There's something. I think it might have been the director, and everything. Like I just found the director to like. I love Lights Out. I like this. I like Shazam. I'm actually
I enjoyed all three. Yeah.
I anxious to see Shazam too. But I'll wait for HBO Max.
The
Um,
way they're doing stuff, yeah.
yeah, I
Well,
mean they'll
and
put it out like, like 2 months anyway, like
well,
whatever.
and the nice thing is, so far with these two films, The Nun and now Annabelle Creation, is the DVD, the Blu-rays. I keep saying DVD. The Blu-rays are actually pretty good because I think these were made for the set that I have because they're all designed the same way. When you put up the menu, and there's always like audio commentary. There's behind the scenes, and it really seems like these guys love what they're doing.
Hmm.
That it's they just really seem dedicated because even the director for Annabelle Creation talked about that he did the credits and he did them like on his phone type of thing, or he shot some stuff on his phone. Like if there was blood on the ground, he shot it with his phone. And he's like, oh yeah, I do visual effects, and he goes, I dabbled in it, so I kind of know. He also wanted to do everything practical, but the studio wouldn't let him do it. Like he wanted to do when the dad's fingers get mashed, when they all get pulled back.
That was
He
that
want
was oof, that
Yeah,
was a
that was
rough
tough,
scene.
but that's CGI, and he wanted to do it practical.
It looked good for CGI
It
because
looked good.
I
And then
was
the black stuff going into the girl's mouth from Annabelle,
oh yeah.
um,
Well,
that
I mean, I would
that was
expect that to
CGI.
be CGI,
Yeah, he wanted to do it practical, and the
I
studio said no, you're not going to have like little girl to little girl vomiting.
yeah,
It's like
I don't think that's a good idea. Like that
yeah.
sounds
But
very
I love how these guys are so dedicated. That they just seem
yeah,
to
we'll just get our
you know
cast sick. That's dedication right there.
yeah,
You know,
it's just it's even
I
if these, because I think Creation is the best of the Annabelle films. So I have many problems with Annabelle Goes Home. So we'll get to that
comes
soon
home.
enough.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
it comes home.
sounds like Lassie come home. Annabelle, come home.
Annabelle, here,
Here,
Annabelle, here,
here,
Annabelle.
Annabelle.
Yeah,
Like a
I just because it's funny is that there are things that are left open in this. Like at the very beginning, before the little bee, before she dies, she they go to church and they're leaving the
hmm.
church, and the guy goes, hey, do you have my doll ready? And the dad's like, oh, I have all the dolls ready. So is this like Chucky? Where are all the dolls?
Yeah, where do they? Because I imagine that they were like there was going to be more than that, just that one Annabelle.
Yeah, and it was number one of 100.
Yeah.
So did he, maybe it was just him just saying Annabelle's
Do
instead of
they
Annabelle?
do they sell Annabelle dolls?
Yes, I think on Red Letter Media. They had one on the desk in the video store in like the video repair shop for a while.
It's so funny. There's a guy that I follow on YouTube, Cinema Sickness, and every time he sees a weird looking doll, you know, or whatever, or if you'll see the Annabelle movie, or whatever, he'll see Raggedy Ann, one of those three things, he'll go, Annabelle. And so that became a running gag that he'll always do on his thrifts, right? To the point where he had to come up with he wanted to come up with a cool girl name for his van, right? And somebody in his chat room suggested Vanabelle.
Vanabelle. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so now he's got a van named Vanabelle, and he does those jokes still from time to time whenever if he sees Raggedy Ann doll, he'll be like Annabelle, like he throws that joke out there, and I think that's really funny. I mean, the movies aren't that. I mean, I don't know if he likes the movies that much or not. He probably does if he's making jokes like that, but I think they're uh I don't really remember. I remember seeing Annabelle Comes Home and thinking it was okay. Um, but nothing to write home about. And I'm excited to rewatch it just to give more insight into it. But
Yeah, I got two huge problems with that
I
one.
remember
So
Annabelle itself being boring as shit to me when I first watched it. I
Annabelle
don't,
is very boring. It's
yeah.
yeah,
So
which is
I'm
why.
not looking forward to watching it, but am looking forward to getting over with. That
Well,
sounds
like the director for Creation says that if you were to read the script, all those effects like near the end, like with the house shaking and all that stuff, isn't in it. And and it was just like, well, crap, we need to do something exciting, like because
Mm.
it was the ending was the door shut in the closet in the movie, like they just walk out and it's done, and they're like, no, we can't end the movie this way. So they had to put some sort of action in there as they're running out. So I would like to think, I mean, yeah, I mean, Annabelle's pretty boring.
Yeah.
That's
And the doll is sort of a boring doll. I mean, really, it just makes things move around or whatever, but like, I'm like, why don't they all just run away? Like run down the road, run far. Like when they were in the car, I was like, just get out of the car and go, you know? Like, why are you
yeah,
still
there,
trying to
yeah.
start the car? Just go, keep running. You'll eventually there these things aren't gonna keep, coming after them like that, I don't think. They'll just it
It yeah, they never had anything that shows that when the dad's driving like the truck that nothing stopped it. The school bus was fine.
yeah,
So I mean, even the little girl running to the well with Annabelle was fine, until she threw Annabelle down, and then it became a problem.
then
But
Annabelle's like, fuck you, man. What the
yeah,
hell? They didn't do
throw me
nothing.
down this well. I'm just being Annabelle.
Jesus. But then like
So
it would be weird because like then the hand would come up and it'd be like a human hand grabbing her and pulling her down. And I'm like, so what is this thing? Like, can just do anything it wants? Because like that becomes like an annoying thing. Like there is no limits then, Like,
I guess, yeah, I guess it can be. I mean, if she did have the doll with her going to the well, so maybe the evil spirit is with her, so it could come out of the well with the human hands or the black hands. But at that point, then maybe there's nothing inside the house. Like the house is okay.
I don't know. It's funny seeing these in the order of later, because like this was made in 2017 or 14
I got
something.
the thing right. I got it right here. I got the timeline.
Uh
I have it on my phone. It's this one. Nope, it's that one. There we go. So like the Nun was made 2018, Annabelle Creation was
okay,
2017.
17. So this was a year before The Nun. And I think was it Conjuring 2 was made in 18, right? You know.
16.
Okay, wait. So 16 for Conjuring 2. Then they did Annabelle Creation? Really? It's weird. So
Yeah,
wait. So first one is 2013, that's The Conjuring. 2014 is Annabelle, if I'm correct.
right.
Then 2015 must have been
No, 2015.
nothing in 2015. So 2016, what you said was Conjuring 2, right?
Was Conjuring 2. Then
And
2017 is Annabelle Creation.
yeah, because then they were like, oh, we got something with
Yeah, then
Annabelle.
2018, The Nun. Well, you spotted the Nun in the movie, right? In Annabelle Creation.
Where
So when the dad is with the sister and they're looking at her photo and she goes, oh yeah, these were the four nuns that I became friends
oh
with
yeah,
in
yeah.
Romania. And then he tilts it and the evil nun shows up and he moves it this way and she disappears and he tilts it again and she's right here and he's like, well, what about that nun? She's like, oh, I don't know, I have no idea, I never met her. So
Yeah.
that's our
Like
connection to the nun.
she never noticed it before either. Like, so which I think is interesting. Um but yeah, I did not know that was I didn't look close enough to the picture, Sadly my eyes are terrible. Like actually literally when they had the notes, I had to pause it and go to the screen and look it up and see that it said like found you or you come and find me
Oh, those, yeah,
or
okay.
whatever those notes. So I had to pause them. If I were watching them in the theater, I'd have no idea what they said. I would like I'm kind of blind when it comes to like stuff like that. So it was okay. It is what it is. But I did see what the notes. I wanted to see what all the notes were because I want to make sure I didn't miss anything that would pop up or anything. And all it was like the notes were That's from Conjuring, started the notes, thing. That's an Annabelle thing. Um, so when you first see the first note, you're like, okay, that little girl is Annabelle, is the Annabelle doll like thing. But that's weird because it was a demon. They say it's a demon. It wasn't her. It wasn't her.
It's
So,
like the demon knows, like it's got into their brain
but
or whatever.
so
Because
it
in
just continues just being that little girl.
yeah, it's now inside the girl with the leg brace that doesn't need the leg brace anymore. I should look up
But
her
then
name. I
how
have
does
it
it get
right
back
here,
into
but
the doll?
it doesn't. That's my confusion with the name. It is you can't have Annabelle the doll and Annabelle the girl. That doesn't make sense.
So I mean, unless they're both still in there, like one's the girl and one's the doll, and they're still the same entity or something. It like when it passed it through through the little girl and through the doll, right? And all of a sudden it still has some of the entity in one and entity. That'll be interesting, but that's something you have to explain when you make these movies
I think it's a
because
continuity error, just a huge continuity error. Continuity error.
well, I think it was a stupid uh prequel issue because they're like, well, we have to make this work, but we can't let this girl that was in the first Annabelle movie like go and kill her parents and all this stuff with the cult guy. You know what I mean? Like we can't have that exist at the end. We have to show that at the end to connect the two, right? But it doesn't make any sense because she's not Annabelle. She was just some random chick that killed, like her parents, right? And like in the next movie, isn't that what it is? It's like,
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say she's random because she's the cripple girl from Creation.
well, right. But what I'm saying
They show
is,
the pictures.
okay, so
She shouldn't be named Annabelle. She shouldn't have said in the orphanage that she's Annabelle. She should. I mean, she could have used B. She goes, "Oh, my name's B." Be like BEA. My name is B,
right.
and then just use that. But it doesn't make sense that because the priest does take the doll out of the house. He says that the place is clean, the doll is clean. What girl wants it? Because there is a deleted scene where how Annabelle moves is the demon. So Annabelle can be seen. It's a physical thing that everybody could see. The demon is not. So there's a cut scene of the demon picking up Annabelle and moving it, and it's floating. So that's how Annabelle gets from place to place is this demon is lifting the doll up and putting it into a chair or on a sofa or in a closet. But that's missing from the movie.
Okay, hold on a second. So, um, Tree O'Toole played Annabelle Higgins, right? And she was listed in Annabelle as Thin Woman. You know, there was Thin Woman and like Thin Man, I guess.
Thin woman would be when the girl with the leg brace when she grows and she's all kind of like
No, no, no. I'm
all
talking about this is for Annabelle 1. She's listed as Thin Woman.
so there's a woman and a guy that are used multiple times in these movies. So like James Wan, I think it is a woman that he uses over and over again, but she wasn't the nun. And then the director of this has a guy that he uses.
Right.
And he was the one who played the demon, but then I guess it was a woman who played the tall woman in Creation when it morphs from the little girl into the demon.
Yeah, so the guy and girl that I guess there's Thin Man and Thin Woman in Annabelle. In Annabelle Creation, she was named Annabelle Higgins. So she was the chick at the end of the movie that played Annabelle when she was like an adult Annabelle, you know?
Right. And she's in Annabelle.
And she's also in Annabelle 1.
Yeah.
And so, but she's listed, credited as Thin Woman in that. I'm wondering if they called her that because they didn't have a name for her at that time. They weren't going to call her Annabelle, you know,
For which film?
for Annabelle itself, the first
Okay.
Annabelle movie. So I'm thinking because she wasn't, because that was before they did Annabelle Creation, before they set up the whole prequel of her having that name of Annabelle. She was just listed as Thin Woman because in Annabelle, she was the one who kills her parents or whatever. She kills a like she shows
Right.
up with her with the cult guy, right? You know,
Yeah, with the
and stuff.
Manson guy. Yeah. Well,
Manson.
then be on the look at it. Out for it on when you watch Annabelle.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So
have to look out. We'll talk about that more when Annabelle comes out, but because now I'll be like, yeah, and that's gonna be on the next one. So it's not
yeah,
like we're gonna have to watch a couple other movies and then see it, you know.
right.
But yeah, I mean, and that I kind of like that it sets up like that chronologically, that it sort of goes into each other, you know. Like it takes place 12 years later, but so did that movie. The movie ended 12 years later or whatever it was, setting up for Annabelle itself.
Yeah.
Um, you
Well,
know,
and I want to point out because I like doing this. So, which is like the financial part of it. So I mentioned on the last video, The Nun, the budget was 22 million, and its box office was 365.6 million. Now for Annabelle Creation, its budget was 15 million. The Nun's budget was 22, and its box office was 306.5 million.
do they say what how much did Annabelle Creation make?
That's what
Like,
I just read.
okay, well, I mean, I didn't hear you said it would the
So it's
budget was 15 million,
right. And
but
so
it
then
grossed how much?
306.5 million
Wow. All right.
from a $15 million budget.
These
So
are hits, you know, like,
yeah, and the Nun came later, so it would make sense that it would actually make more money because people are now into this.
yeah.
So each
Um,
one should make more money.
here's the big interesting thing, that I want to kind of hit you up with. Whoa, like I was getting eaten by Annabelle's trying to eat my head. Um,
Yeah, if you're in the right position, it looks like you're wearing a wig.
uh,
I think you got to get closer to the screen. Your head has to be bigger.
oh,
There you go, more like that.
oh my God, that is weird. I don't like it. I don't like it. Like I'm trying to be Annabelle for Halloween. But yeah, so what is it? So my big thing is we had the pandemic, the pandy that happened, and I wonder if that like has sort of affected that it's going to affect the box office numbers for now because people haven't, maybe not because HBO Max and other streaming
These days?
platforms have had, what?
These days or back
Yeah.
then?
I'm talking
No,
about now,
absolutely.
like the next
I don't think
movies.
COVID affects anything anymore. It's I mean, just look at Top Gun Maverick. I mean, that the film is still
I'm
playing in theaters,
I'm
and
saying
it
more along the lines of people haven't been to the theaters to watch these movies in a while. I'm wondering if people are forgetting about the universe. Maybe.
I don't think so.
You
No,
don't think so? You think people are going to
no.
still be excited and hyped up for the Nun 2?
I think so because like Violent Night made a lot of money. Christmas, Bloody Christmas made money. I mean, all these horror films are now making money. It's just that
Terrifier 2
it's
made a huge amount.
Terrifier money. Yeah, it made a ton of dough. And I mean, I think that people are back to horror. I think that they want to be entertained and scared, and they don't want this woke garbage that's out there, and that's why all these movies bomb. They're right now saying that James Cameron is really pissed because Avatar 2 is not making money. It's not making as much as they thought it would. The
I
film would have to
mean,
make 2 million just to make back its budget, but you have to make 2 times your budget. So he has to make like $4 million to make any money back. And he's not making any money.
wait, 4 million?
I'm sorry, 4 billion.
Yeah, I was gonna say 4 million. I
So
think he can
so he
make
has
4 million, but
yeah, so he has to make 2 billion to get his money, to break even, 4 billion to make, to really
a
say that the
profit.
film was a
Yeah,
hit. Yeah. And
it's.
he's pissed. He's blaming people. He flipped off a whole bunch of people outside one of the theaters that were looking for autographs, and they're like, when he wouldn't stop, they're like, fuck you, James Cameron. Avatar sucks. And he put his finger out the window and flipped them all off.
I
And now
mean,
that's
like,
gone up viral. So
well, I mean, like, if he doesn't want to give you an autograph, that's his,
it
that's
is,
his
but
choice.
it's
You don't have to be like, hey, you have a
no,
choice.
but you know what you do, and people pointed this out, and I think it's true. You sign like three. You go up, you just put your name, you sign three of them, and then you go. Just to do it, so
I
you don't
wouldn't
look
do
like a
that. I
dick.
wouldn't personally do that because I would have to do everybody if I did three, because I would feel bad, personally me.
No,
That's how I am. So I would either be I do all of them or I do none. And and it would depend on time. It would depend on how busy I am. Like I'm pretty sure James Cameron is a busy guy, um, but he shouldn't be too busy for his fans, or whatever.
he
Oh,
doesn't really like his fans anymore because of he talks about toxic masculinity a lot. So it's he's gone that other direction now. So while to go back to the original thing is that I think that Conjuring 4 or The Nun 2 or Insidious 5, I think would make a lot of money. I think that's
right.
what people want. And especially if you do them on a little budget, because nobody could say anymore, oh, it's COVID. No, look at Top Gun Maverick.
Well, no,
It's
I'm not saying it's no, I'm not
huge.
saying because of going to the theater or not going to the theater. I'm just saying that people haven't these movies haven't been out in the theater in like a couple of years,
No, but James Wan is still known, and Lee
Yeah, I
Marnell is
mean he's
still
still doing
known,
stuff.
and
Though his movies are still coming out. Just the Conjuring Universe movies haven't been out. Like the last one was what was it, The Nun or Conjuring 3? Conjuring
Conjuring
3.
3.
Conjuring
So
3,
that would have
which
been 2001. It's only been a year.
2021.
2021.
Yeah. 2001, that would have been
Yeah,
amazing
yeah.
because, Saul hadn't even come out by then. But 2021, it's almost 2 years than the last one,
It's not
So,
30 years like Avatar.
well, right, but that's another thing why I don't have a care about Avatar.
Oh, I have no interest
And
in
I
seeing
like
it.
have no
So,
interest. Like I
no.
don't care about blue people that, live in water. I don't like whatever. Like I didn't like
But
the first one. I got
people
bored.
care. Oh, I like the first one, even though it says Dances with Wolves, but with blue people. It's but I think that people care about. I think people care about Annabelle. I think people care about The Conjuring. I think that people
Good.
would
I
go
really
see
hope
it.
they do. I hope I would
Excuse me.
actually go see The Nun 2 in the theater. There's a lot of DC stuff or Marvel stuff that well, Marvel I'll probably go see in the theater. There's a lot of movies I won't go see in the theater. I'll just wait till it comes out on streaming. Mainly because it's just a pain in the ass these days to go to the theater. In my opinion. And I always go alone. Like nobody ever wants to go with me. So,
Oh, I don't go to the theater un, unless I have to. So, like,
right.
you want to go see Top Gun Maverick in the theater for the type of movie that it is, but um, I if I know it's going to be streamed and theater, I'll just watch streaming. I won't go to the theater.
Yeah. And
And
especially if like it's only gonna come out in a couple months, time. Like Black Adam, I had no interest in seeing that. However, yeah, it's out now. I could see it now. I still have no real interest in seeing it.
yeah, that was
I don't know. The
another
the
bomb.
trailers never hooked me. And then hearing all the rock stuff just bothered me. So I'm just like, I'm done.
Now that's a whole other video that you'll be invited to next month when we talk about
Oh, that's
superheroes.
right. We're
So
doing
yeah,
that next month for
yeah. So
DC,
we could
whole
bring up
DC
all that
discussion.
stuff.
Well, there you go. We have
Well,
other shit we're
everything,
doing.
Marvel, DC, all of that. It could be everything. So
Oh, okay. So
that's
it's just superhero movies, I
yeah, in
guess,
general. Yeah,
in
TV,
general.
movies, whatever. Yeah.
Uh,
So,
you know,
but
uh,
I do think that since like this stuff is Warner Brothers, I think I would, if the Nun 2 goes to HBO at the same time as the theater, I might go support it in the theater just because I want this stuff to be made.
Right. Like this I care about because it's lower budget than like DC or Marvel or whatever have. Like, these things, this is how they like, you know, I mean, without me going to the theater, Marvel's probably still going to survive, without my ticket, right? This movie may not, you know? Like it needs every person going because like sometimes it might not get the same love and effect. You just don't know with horror. And I feel like horror films should be, that's why I'm a horror film lover. It should be celebrated any way that will make its money. That way it can continue.
Well, next year will be good. I mean, Scream 6 will make a lot of money. I mean, all of this stuff will make a lot of money.
Which,
It's
yeah, I don't know if you'll want to watch or not. I think we've had this discussion of
I'll
the
go see
last
it.
Scream 5,
I am very interested in seeing what the film will be like without Nev Campbell. I think with the amount of film series that I do watch where they knock somebody out, like the Resident Evil films, the films don't match to the characters that are in them. I mean, you'll have five people in one film and only two of them will return for the next one. That type of thing. Or
right?
maybe four films down the road where we see somebody come back, like Ali Lauder or something. So I'm curious of seeing what this is because it can't always be about Sydney. I mean, it can't. I mean, what are you gonna do? Make 12 movies all about Sydney? So at some point, she either has to die or just not come back. So I'm curious. I'll go see it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
Um,
it's you know
I'll see
I'm
it in the theater,
yeah. I
I'm
mean I'm
excited.
happy
It'll be in
those guys
March,
are
I think. So,
making money. So it's just like I'm happy that James Wan and Lee Wynell and all these guys are making money. I'm glad to see that and that they're moving up the ladder
and
and
support them.
yeah. So it's great if this director can go from Lights Out to Annabelle Creation to Shazam, more power to him. That's awesome.
Well, you talked in another podcast earlier about how you love Hollywood, like that's what you strive for, in your work, and everything, to make it
Yeah.
look as mainstream and love as possible with that stuff. But, and to see independent filmmakers, like the guy who did Lights Out was sort of, I mean, even though I think it was made by a studio, he made a short film that got made into a feature length film because of his short film.
Which isn't even a good, it's not a great short film. I think it's the concept that was, that interested the
Yeah,
studio. And they're like, okay, can you do this into a feature? Because that's, I mean, it really is like a chick's looking down a hallway. The light's on, there's nothing there. She turns it off, there's something there. Turns it on, it's not there. She does like three or four times, and then she turns on the light. It's gone. She turns it off, and there it is, like right next to her face. And that's the whole movie. It's only like 6 minutes or something. It's
yeah.
pretty short. So I would think it's more of the concept that sold it than the actual short. But once again, good for him. It's just like James Wan with and Lee Wynell with Saw.
Yeah, when
It's
they
like a
made the
10-minute
short for
movie.
Saul, like, I mean, they did a short for Saul. They made a little thing, and people are like, "Well, that's interesting. Let's make it into a movie."
Yeah.
A feature and everything. And I think that's the way I think independent filmmakers should think. Like if you're struggling right now to figure out how can I break into Hollywood, or do something that could do that, make a really good fucking short that could be transferred into a feature. I feel like a lot of times that's a lost art, because so many people make and I include myself, but a lot of people make short films to put into anthologies, because most of the time you think, what is this short film gonna do? Like this isn't anything, anybody wants to see, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So it depends on the movie, right? And everything. And if you have something that could be a promo or a or like something that could lead to a movie, to a feature, then do it, you know.
Sure. Well, and they gave that opportunity. I mentioned in the last video that there were like short films that were made, and it was actually for Annabelle creation. It's called My Annabelle Creation, and it was back in 2017. And they just had independent filmmakers. They made one, two, three, four, five short films, and I think you could see them all on YouTube. And it was just a contest that you could enter, and
Kind of like
these are the
Project Greenlight,
winners. I guess.
except
Part.
did any of those people do anything else?
I would have to look at each one individually. I'm not sure. I can't click on them except for one. There's a film called The Nurse, 2017. Winner from United States competition. His short film, The Nurse, just under 2 minutes. Filmed over 4 days. The film revolves around a bandaged, temporarily blind girl named Emily who attempts to elude a demon nurse.
Hmm. Okay.
So,
Um,
yeah, five separate competition winners being selected from the United States, United Kingdom, Mexico, Sweden, and Colombia. So,
Interesting. I'm
yeah.
looking it up on YouTube and seeing interesting stuff for it. So cool. Well, there you go. That's nice that they were able to offer competitions, and I mean, I'm sure they'd already shot Annabelle Creation, but they wanted to help launch other, independent filmmakers into.
Yeah, there is this. If you're interested or anybody else, I don't know if you've seen this through Red Letter Media. I think it's Annabelle Creation, where they talk about that it was a scam,
Okay.
and they look into the whole thing, like the instructions and um the small print, like the fine print. So
Which would be
there's
like, oh, you're not going to be a part of Hollywood at all.
yeah, like we
Suckers.
own your movie, like you're not going to make any money off of it. You can't do anything with it.
Oh, that
And
sucks.
Mike and Jay break it down, and I think it's for Annabelle Creation. So if you
Contest. Oh,
look up
wow.
Red Letter Media, probably Annabelle Creation, the video will pop up.
Interesting. I'll have to check that out at some point, you know. Um, I don't know. Well, anyway, is there anything else we left out? Was there anything in the movie that we did not talk about?
I think it's the best out of the Annabelle films. I like where it's shot. I like the location of the
The
house and,
house
and
was
the
pretty cool
barn.
in the barn. Yeah.
Yeah. I
I would have
thought,
liked to see more stuff outside the house too, more, that would have been cool. But I mean, they did have some, obviously, like they showed the well a couple times and then they showed the barn and then, and whatnot. But it would have been cooler to, because I feel like a lot of time it was stuck inside a house. I did like the little thing that reminded me of Gremlins. The little, way for her to get up the stairs and everything. I forgot what
oh,
that's
with the
called.
chair, yeah,
At the
the
chair
electric
going up the
chair.
stairs. Yeah, and I love the shot of her falling onto the ground. And actually, this was the most like James Wan that I've ever seen, with so many cool crane shots and shots from above, and you know what I mean?
Drones, yeah, they use
Drones.
drones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so really cool shots. I actually really like the look of this film. There's one shot where it definitely felt like a James Wan. Maybe James had come in and suggested something, or maybe the director did it himself. I don't know. There's one part where the camera kind of lifts up from like a book or something, and it goes into the person's face. I don't know. It was like something weird. It was something like really quick,
That I
you
don't
know.
remember.
Yeah, it was stuck in my head, and that's why I remembered it, because when I saw it, I go, wow, that was interesting, like some of the shots were cool, you know. Um, okay, so what would you rate this movie out of five?
I would get, well, let's see, I gave the Nun 4, I think. So
Right.
I'm going to give this 4 also.
Okay. I gave The Nun 2.5, remember, and I'm gonna give this 3.5.
Oh, okay.
I liked it. I liked it way, I mean, I liked it a lot better. I enjoyed it more. I think it's more because I don't know. I just didn't like the monastery stuff, I guess, in the nun, and so I couldn't care about any of that. I mean, I'm not
Something else you
Catholic.
don't like.
Yeah, just whatever. Something, one other thing, just keep adding that, and then one day make a movie with all this shit that I don't like, and then I can be like, well, I'm not seeing that movie. Like, right? Like, or make me watch it like in Clockwork Orange with my eyes popped up. Ah,
That's how we're gonna have to do it. So yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna have to, drip some
Yeah.
stuff in my eyes.
I mean, my reviews also go off of what I watch it again.
Yeah,
Like how much would I want to watch it? And I've seen The Nun like 3 times now, and I'd probably watch it again. And I've seen Annabelle Creation, I think probably 3 times. I'd watch it again. I
I,
wouldn't want to do it for a while, but you know,
I saw The Nun once, and I was like, that's it. That's all I really, like, I don't know. I may buy it one day, so that might mean I'll
buy the
end up.
collection.
Yeah, I'll probably buy the collection,
Or
but right now they don't have an 8 film collection, so I'm waiting until that comes out. They only have a 7 film collection, as far as I
that's
can
why I
see.
bought the other two separately. Yeah, because I
Yeah,
thought, oh, that's good. That's a good set for those movies. I just had to buy the other two.
yeah, I think they're waiting until they get more like the Nun 2 and some other stuff before they start adding more to
Oh,
like, because
I think that when Nun 2 comes out, there then all of those other ones will be together. And then Nun 2 will have to be separate.
okay,
That's normally how they do it. Like if they
yeah,
do a Transformers box set, it's these 4 movies, but the fifth one is coming out in the theater. And then when part
okay.
six
So the
comes out, it's
seven
these
films
five
collection
movies.
must not include Conjuring 3, but includes all the other ones except for that one, right?
No, La Llorona.
I think La Llorona's on the 7 film.
No, because I bought it separately.
Well, let me see. Hold on.
Trust me,
I'm
I bought it
I
separately.
know, but I
I bought
wanna
Conjuring 3 separately.
you can yell at me and say you're wrong and everything, but let me
I'm
um
going to. You should trust me. Because it's
news.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's 6. I don't think it's 7. It's 6. It's a
So
six film.
there is a Conjuring Universe 7 film collection, and it's got,
So that's the one I don't have.
yeah, you don't
I have
have
the
that
one.
one.
I have the one before it.
Yeah. So yeah, so it must have La Llorona, but it doesn't have the other one. Um
Conjuring 3.
Conjuring 3. And then you're right. Then when Nun 2 comes out, they'll have the 8 film collection without the
Yeah,
Nun 2,
it's what they always do.
which sucks because like it's like you're always missing one, you know? Like,
Well, yeah, they always do that with like Chucky. I bought the box set of Chucky, and of course the one that was coming out isn't in it. Like Cult of Chucky is not in it. So you got to buy Chuck. You have to wait and then
yep,
buy that separately.
there you go. Well,
So
thank you, John. This was awesome. I had
sure.
a
Oh
fun
yeah.
time and I enjoyed this and I think I'm really looking forward to Annabelle because I want to get it over with. Um And then I'm really looking forward to diving back into The Conjuring. Like I hadn't seen that in forever. I remember like so I was doing a ghost show in a ghost series like pilot called The Invited that Jackie Hall was in. And everybody was over at my house, right? And I was staying in one of the rooms and everybody else was watching The Conjuring, and I'd already seen it, right? So some of them had not seen it. So I went into my room, went to sleep, woke up the next morning, and there was a note left under my door, or whatever, like shoved under the door that was like, come and play or something, whatever, kind of creepy little note, that was, it was their Annabelle moment, or whatever. I always thought that was cute, that my friends played with me like that, while I was sleeping. They got bored and did that. I was like John Johnson and the people like that were just like, because they were hanging out. They might have been drinking, I don't know, but they're all hanging out, having a good time. Before we had to wake up in the morning and shoot again.
There you
You
go.
know, and we had to shoot a ghost thing, so it kind of worked.
Okay.
I like that stuff. So, anyway, if you guys have suggestions for things for us to watch for later, please let us know in the
Much
comments.
later.
Much later, because we already got things mapped out, so planned out. So we're gonna be doing these probably for 20 episodes at least, if not more. And so just get ready. There's gonna be a lot. 'Cause James Wan's things, like he's done a lot, you know.
Yeah, and I would assume that we're not going to tackle some of it. Like we're probably not going to do Aquaman. I mean, that's we're going to mostly stick with,
Well,
I would
you're
think,
doing a horror,
horror sci-fi. Yeah.
Yeah, all this horror stuff. So that might include like Malignant, but that wouldn't include Fast and the Furious 7, you
Right.
know. But if we ever do something else that has to do with Hollywood or something, we might tackle that, and that has nothing to do with horror, you know.
Right.
Um, but anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this. Join us next week for a brand new episode where we're going to be tackling Annabelle
Yep.
itself. And so we get to see that little doll again. Yay.
Yay.
It takes place right after this one. So, all right. We're gonna see that doll again. Ugly ugly looking thing.
Yep. That thing right behind
I
you.
say that right now and he's gonna pop up behind me or something. Attack me. No,
It might,
no. It's
especially with those
everywhere,
eyes.
apparently. That's what we found out.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Everybody, hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.
all
Bye
right. Bye,
bye.
everybody. Thanks. Bye.